I don't want to miss out more anybody. Ke thabile thata kajeko ke na le lona, more especially in the house of Allah. Le gore Brother Hassan has already done the talking for me. What is really left ke gore ke latlhele mola le mola. About 2 points tse ke di naganneng in my own journey tse ne ke ratile go di share le lona kajeko. Cancer is not a death penalty. I know Hansi, Habawobosaware, you've got cancer. The first thing that comes to your mind is to think of people waiting but cancer. And today, more than I'm not going to baggage you with statistics, but I can tell you on a weekly basis, monthly basis, they succumb to cancer. And the reasons, actually, the reasons why people are succumbing to cancer. You see, about diagnosing cancer, the period AIDS from diagnosis, that's not about cancer, to the period EU, attention, help. Let me use the trivial scenario. We are go clinicing, about referral go kalafong. Kalafong le yona ke dress. How if you talk about referral go Steve Biko. Now that period before the actual diagnosis, because the cancer spread slowly like wildfire, depending on the type of cancer. And it's already leaflets about the different types of cancers. In actual fact, I'm thinking, I must do it. Well, you can help me, the ones, and this is a prostate cancer, just give it to them. Yeah. Thank you very much, Hopana. Then they can share them. So, brothers, you get told that on cancer. The first thing is mental health. What's what does it mean? Am I going to die? And then this lack of knowledge, understanding what is cancer all about. And it gets mola, on how we get cancer. Cancer in general, prostate cancer in specific, because rona bontate, cancer eo e leng e atileng mo rona bontate ke prostate cancer. Okay? Dipampiri tse le di tshwere mo lona mola, ha le ka di flipper like this, la di lebella. Ka mo morago di le bontsha drawing ya the male body. And then o lebelle gore the prostate ke eng mola, ke the gland e ntseng mola, and it's the size ya le dopisi se kgolo. But then in this journey, the reasons why it's so long. Amongst others, e rona e re robang dipelo ke gore go nne le tse ding tse nna re sa di khosang. Cancer e a ra ipakela yona. This cancer e tlile mo go rona because of the food that we eat, and we are not responsible for dijo tse re di jang. There are people who are responsible to produce the food that we eat. In the South African context, for example, in the South African Poultry Association, poultry. Reamola mo plaza roraka di braai or go, what is this other place? Mo rekisa nama. Mo plaza. Reka maotwana, reka di chicken di eng. Now those chickens, ba di tlhaba ka di hormones. gore di gole ka speed. From laying to a complete chicken, 21 days. Now, those hormones, these are mo mmeleng wa rona. They mess up our cells. Over a period of time of consuming those kind of things, one of the things that actually I want to share with men because this knowledge is gather really hands research or why. Really what you call label sensitive. Gore ha o fitla ko dlaleng vandag majita. O lebelle bohobe bo re bo rekang. Ne? O lebelle ka mothoko ka mo ba ingredients. Now that's where cancer le yona ba e tsentshitse mo rona. Those ingredients tse ba di lokelang mo bohobeng. Imagine o thoma o ja bohobe le monyane so. You grow up, o ja bohobe. Now those ingredients amongst them go na le tse ba di loketseng hape di hormones di pesticides. Now go na le specific ones and with time the sort of documentation I didn't want to lump you with a lot of documents. E ke tlo e share le yona. So le lebelle ha le fitla ko dlaleng. Anything that you take, o lebelle that label ingredients again. Go na le engwe ba re ke GMO. Bothata shibuo hona moo. We are being massacred as a black nation, as black people. That is you. And this is a historical thing. I told me no. Kale rona ne ro hola in our time na ba re enter. But with time we got to know what king kama. But now in today's time we know. And this is something e re tshwanetse re kgopele bontate as men. Because ke rona re tlhokometse malapa. Le bo mme ba re thusa. Re nne sensitive to these things. If dikgogo tse ba re rekisang tsona re sa itse gore label tsa tsona ke because maotwana la wa reka ka mo roots ha na label a tletse ka mo plastic ele gima ene and diamonds ka ba botsisa ba rude, they are arrogant, I know them ba ka se botse. So it's for us to take the responsibility of looking after ourselves. The eggs my arajang ale Sheikh, the people who produce those eggs are dirang sephatlo ka ona. Nna re teng mola ko panini kwa le re betha sephatlo ka speed. And then those boers, ke production, owners of means of production, ba ja ka maya mantši. Ko Evergreen kwa le ka mo egg depot ka ra ba rekisa maya mantši. So they have to produce volumes and volumes and volumes of eggs. A sa nang ba a latlha ko lewatle. You see? So ba itse gore ha mae a tsa 14 days for ba produce. So it's rona on our own, we have to take the responsibility of being quite careful about what we eat. Careful, because it's what we put in our mouth e re causang di-cancer di. Ha ke tlo bolela ka tsa ho tsuba le tsa ho nwa tseo, those are social maladies. But at a stage mo re kgonang go ithusa, re tshwanetse re thusane. And my gents ke a le kgopela, we have to talk to one another. We must talk to one another. Rona unlike bo mme, a re bolele. Gore o kgona go gata deng o tshogile and then le the stigma. Ba re dimane o tshwere ke cancer, e ka re ke HIV and AIDS. Le ka HIV and AIDS you talk. Ha o sa bolele o ka se kry thuso. So one of the things e ke tlo e kgopela re ireng ka tšeko before re vaya is to take a pledge. And this is something e le nna ke developileng over a period of time e ke shareang le people ha re tsamaya di-treatment tsa rona tsa cancer because re ba bantši. Says buyer. And I got to know about this Hansikia treatment in Lena. My last treatment was last week. I'll tell you about it. It was not fun. I'm back again by the grace of Allah. And now in this masjid, I say I'm living testimony of Allah's mercy. That Allah will another chance. And when I was down and out, I asked Allah, ke kgopela a second chance of living. And in this second chance, Allah, I'm asking you, give me a project for kids. So I cited an example that I had. Yeah, one brother of gifts of the givers, Dr. Suleiman, he was in Turkey at an event, and this brother who was giving a speech like me today was speaking in a foreign language. I think it was Arabic or the local language of Turkey. So dimane ar auka ba mo kgetha mo hara crowd. Ba re wena, go back to your country and do something for your people. Ara ke na zaka, ko etsega, no, don't worry, Allah will provide. Today, as we're sitting and talking here, the gift of the givers are doing amazing work worldwide. Le rona, we are also living testimony of Allah's mercy. Ashifa, Rinzegam, akora ke le botse story. Ashidi plek. You guys know how much it has taken, the trouble it has taken for us to acquire this, but by the mercy of Allah, Ashifa Rinzega cheko. Re bolela ka mo. So like cancer is the same thing. The mantra that I have developed ke gore together we can beat cancer. And together we are going to beat cancer. And ke boledisa ke eng? 27 years ago in this country, and I was talking to the guys who were responsible, the then president, Thabo Mbeki, when this country needs the scourge, HIV and AIDS, ne ba gana go fa batho the antiretrovirals for combating HIV and AIDS. A group of guys like us, Baba Few, they formed themselves into a structure called Treatment Action Campaign. So that means not that I'm positive, but because of community work. And I asked them, how did you get to where you are? And every year at my rally, breast cancer mopeli, they are there to address. They said, on behalf of our communities and women, Rilwan said this thing. Today, if you are being diagnosed having HIV and AIDS, it's free to be diagnosed. It's free to get the antiretrovirals. And last year, the 4th of October, these guys made a challenge to me to say, Moahi, you are a cancer survivor. You have been fighting this battle. We are there to support you. Raise the level of cancer, the government, for ifitle, more government is positive and serious. Because I don't want to bury you with politics, but this government has failed us like it. Now, in the health sector, it's worse. Steve Biko Rem address just to get the cards out processed. And let me tell you, Steve Biko is jacked up. Kalafong is jacked up. Marba Tushiba. Here's a group of people who have lost interest in us. And look after ourselves. Can I list something? Then you circulate it. A place called Johannesburg, Charlotte Maxeke Hospital. Honale facilities on Steve Biko, very, very strong, cancer. Now, a year ago, Bali for Unabatwa cancer, Michini Robehil. Like, you know, the government offices, how ya da, sorry, network class. They're just lazy. So, Kwalebar Michini Robehil. I belong to another structure called Cancer Alliance of South Africa. Shut. So Cancer Alliance of South Africa, Ilego Treasury. The first part before I go Treasury, really what we thought the government listens to, marching, like March on March. A whole bunch of us, Josie, we marched to Panyaza's office, the Kopela intervention. Whereas the premier But who said those 3,000 people? Cancer Alliance of South Africa, ya kgona go raiser. Now you gotta hear this. It's so sad. 784 million rand from Treasury ya South Africa. But to here. Your guess is as good as mine. Or Charlotte Maxeke Hospital by Linga Zakaila. Then we went back. Panyaza Refita is our compatriot. Hey, comrade, who's it sharp? Hey, they did nothing. That lady, okay, circulating program high. This second nine is January. She was the face of this protest. We took the South African government to court about this cancer thing. Because our expectations was that now about 784 million rands. Either barenta michini ela or by the patient to go another hospital. You know, something as simple as that. As I'm talking, men people are going and dying. Because what about Jelezak? And they are playing hide and seeks, the games. All right? When we were burying that lady, I was amongst the speakers, Linda. I said to the African National Congress, you are a disgrace. I don't know what you want. It's 32 years we've been making promises to people. I want to tell you something. But then, another move, I'll inform you with time goes on, where we are now pressurizing the government in court. We won this case in the Supreme Court. The province by appeal against this judgment because the judges firstly, secondly, blow by blow what you're going to do. And then thirdly, implement. Ba appeal that judgment. So we are going to go to Bloemfontein. Nahana. I had the blessings of talking to Panyaza Hane Reboloka and Tate Jola Takom, actually Mopil. Correct same for you to Makanti in Lento in Senians. About why we throw, but you're talking it's politics. But let me confine myself to us. I'm sharing this information, Luna, because despite the fact that there are okay? Now let me narrow it down to myself. It's now 2017, 2026. It's 9 years that I'm living with cancer. That 2017, I was diagnosed with cancer, and it was maybe a blessing or funny. The other space I occupy and community outreach program, program is Tibatlala, 7 regions. So I go to the 7 regions. I provide nutritional packs. Before ke lwala ne ke na le a warehouse ko Marakeng wa Tshwane, fresh produce. And I get ready donations. And I had people helping me out and partnering with Gusu. So one day I'm driving from Bronco Street because what used to happen is I'm the social workers what la phone na ntate mo ke go fila mokhuku ko Zithobeni ko Bronco Street what and then ke khotla my folks majitaka ekse ba rona le mokhuku o fileng get into Mahindra Reakwale Rasesa. So I'm coming from that place. Ke Vrydag. Ke rile Juma ka ntlhela. Vandaraf ke tla high. Now, ha ne ke le ko mokhukhung o something ya ba ya ke re ke lo makeng mara. Ke bona ho wa ana ho tese ka re ke maoto or ke a tshia or ke I don't know. I'm like what the heck. So ha ke tla high ke le mo info go thoma go baba mo and I start swelling. Ka tshoga. Off ramp right, let me get the nearest hospital. Kids saying, that's an Brooklyn in life, whatever. Elamo Brooklyn in Groenkloof. I live in right, no emergency case. And then fortunately for me, the doctors were still walking around. That Professor Fanemerva, remember, he lived Timia level, what's happening? Not gonna get people all I know is a snake bite. Snake bite. Kan hana, kan gilumlega na denda, kumi kukuba. Kan gilumlega what they call the black spider widow. Spiders isn't to me. And the spiders apparently not a poison. But now I want to go to the little poison that they got line. I didn't know them. So they took my blood for tests. And then I'm like tested. This doctor already the following day, no, we're not okay, but you over our watch. Or no, the tested is sharp, but for a whole month or two, you have to use this medication so that this poison is almost system, but it won't kill you. God, I hope so. So this guy asks me, have you done prostate test, cancer, prostate tests? I'm like, no, I haven't. I'm not gonna cancer. And I suggest you do them. So I don't know what he saw. But okay, then Manzamadi. So Diman Havulela so he's the third guy one Butisa this question. And my answer is the same. And it's inaccurate. Giri. No, I don't have prostate. How do I know I don't have prostate? Little Nangali Buddhisa, do you have prostate? No, you don't. I would say it's one test. That's why we say screening saves life. Next time when I have these kind of conversations, although bansokodisa, unless kwa kuzoneketa le patela, but you say trust, retest. And the testing is very simple. Nakong balokela kamutla sa leleme, and ba test rona le cancer hona lana think about koloi half tank. Ha feta ka mo go sharp. Ha re ka mo tlase gore ai ina petrol. So le yona ba level what they call PSA ya how readings e byang. So next time ke tla re nja le bona re tshware mo ntle mo the thing. So this guy ha ra na ntwe the following day ha ke era are hey what I see I just say no that's the journey there 2017. I think you're going to need to have a biopsy. I'm like, what is a biopsy? I can say how you spread among million. Now I start thinking of my own ignorance. What is cancer? Prostate cancer, if I'm like, how are you spread? So Gamuji is like, doctor, where is it spreading? You spread out your essential parts, body parts. Liver, and I'm like, wow. At what rate? We can't determine how to address this thing. I'm not telling my family. Now, the mental health thing comes up. The fear, the ignorance. Aginya go jambisa go high ke batshose. Ke ba botsa re bare e kare ke na le cancer. Because what's wrong? Then we go to a second doctor. This guy level those results. I think if you allow us, we have to operate the first surgical procedure. Arujile last kara naga tlhao ke tsaba dijo. Le ka tšoko ke jele ka gobane hey, ke di dodge. Ke ra sale ke tša furu. Please catch until 10 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, I'll operate on you. I'm like, hold on a second. What exactly are you operating? Ko etsagalang ka mo mmeleng wa ka? There's a lot of cancer cells. D3. Hey, so I went for the first surgical procedure. So what they do there, because the prostate, that gland is swearing ill, inale cancer cells, kamohari. So it's finally pilisi by the capsule, it breaks, then cancer ya chwada. Ya go seviting, ya go maling, yeah, wherever. And then it upsets the cell formations. So the first round, that's no theta. I get operated, but in the meantime, what they do, very, very uncomfortable. I've never gone through that. But there a thing called catheter, more your penis. So that how you number one, or you number one, you come with this bottle. And it's a painful procedure because none of us are used to those things. It's the first experience. But because they do their thing, then I stayed there. From there, I get a name, second opinion. What if this? And this guy who drew prostate like this one, prostate how she, and then the cancer So we have to determine how many cancer tumors are in your body. This journey has taken me 2017 up until last week, Monday. But in the process, Alhamdulillah, I've recovered. Then I go for a second opinion. Iemand in the US, New York City. I lived there for 12 years, so there's someone I know there, my host family. But no, there's a doctor in South Africa. He's based in Johannesburg. And fortunately, he's our Muslim brother, Professor Mohammed Hafeje. So I write to this guy, I say, hey, Assalamu alaikum, brother. My name is Bilal so-and-so in the US, New York City, referred me to you. He's in connection with cancer, prostate cancer. I'd like to set up an appointment to come see you. Bona, WhatsApp after Fajr. Damana responda. I'll come today. Subhanallah, kahlaba Gautrain ka da ka ke itse ra plek le ona ke fitla go paki kwa le boat. Fitla mane, Assalamu alaikum Sheikh, how are you Sheikh? Ha fitla ra damana level la file tse la. Bilal, listen. That you have cancer, it's not deniable and it's not a debate. It is deadly and not drawing. Now, what we have to determine is to what extent, if any, where is this cancer spreading so that there is stop. So now with your prostate, usually the traditional method of prostate cancer, what they do, they operate on you and they take out the prostate. So he said the prostate gland, let me be specific. So he said, in your case, it's useless to take out the prostate gland because direct spread out of larger rains prostate gland is spread mmele. So now is the second procedure he's talking about. He says, but before we go to the second, we're going to have to map. Mapping meaning what they do is they take you into theater, and then something that I hate, needles. They put in all sorts of needles in your body, and but since blue liquid, it travels in your body, and it's painful. Why you could then Fandaraf, you lie there, go theater, and it's cold in there. Those who have been in theater. You're not wearing anything underneath, you're wearing that cow tila, a blue and a lay, well, now with this, well, anybody. And then by its X-ray, 3 hours, I'm there. Yeah, so I get those results. And they said, no, Mahi, we have to act. So this sheikh calls me, Professor Mohammed Hafeje, says, Sheikh, we need a second surgical procedure. So naga with this usual, what does it mean? The results, it's a dear only 38 cancer tumors and they are whole in your body. 38. We must stop and kill these cancer cells. How do you do it? So dimano utlaka balloon yabana. But Bilal, can you say this? Azaz cox pellet or needle or whatever. This is what we need to do. I'm like, wow. So you're going to like stab me with needles and kill? He says, no, don't worry, we'll find a way to do it. We'll explain to you. So I had to go to another surgery, second surgery, go a place in Benoni, more specialized than that thing. Part of nuclear medicine. What they do is now that what's very mepe or the mo mafatleng, di mo pelong, di mo kae, e nngwe ya go the brain. So they go, that procedure, through laser and nuclear medicine. Ba o tlhaba ye. Ba tsensana hooters ba di bitsa di needles. Senyane so e ka re di-chip into your body. As I'm talking to you, I do have them in my body. Ha ke tsena mo shopong, di re ting dong, e ka re ke a utswa. So I have to produce this I'm a cancer survivor. Look at airport, I'm sorry, sir. Do you mind stepping aside? Look off it. Ding dong. Go on. So you have to explain. Oh, okay, okay. So then I go to this theater. Early in the morning, 5:30, I'm there. The light go drop at the we are 33617. My professor is there, Sheikh Mohammed Hafaji. Hey, Bilal, it's going to be easy. We are not going to give you anesthesia. It's going to be done, you know. He looks like Sheikh, big body. You see, this brother I got is a West African. It's not also. It's what I'm like, what you gonna do with that? Huh? What the hell are you going to do with it? I don't know. We have to on your spine, so that I'm like, you want to put the stuff in my spine? He's like, yeah. I'm like, don't worry, Sheikh. You won't even feel it. Ish. Come on, look at it. Come on, level. And already this guy, what's he come on? What's the Wana mo, yeah, boy. Subhanallah. So the other thing in Susitsen, but I think I guess by Bizanga English, Litolo Gilela Wafalan Kale Molona. I guess by Bizanga, what do they call it? Litolo, what a Kale Roka. There is a thing, they coil that thing around. Like, king Litolo Giga school. Maralabana Gawalagai. Yeah. Bantumisa Lona so. I'm like, why? Or so that I mustn't get it to me. How the pain is in. I'm like, no, 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 no. I have a high threshold for pain. I'll hang on. They said, no, 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 beloved. Do that. So demon unya go home pofa mo beto ka ne. But because I utlwa pele o tlo nya go suta so no tla ba ka re ne ke sharp ke ta itshwarella. I refused. I said, no, 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 no. Because what happened at that stage, psychologically, I got traumatized. That here I am, these guys are tying me down to a table. And it brought back some experiences as a young man. I'm an activist. Even now, although I'm a deactivated activist in terms of age, but I'm still an activist. As a young man, I used to be involved, and I still am involved. May Allah bless the wedding. Nikah. So as a young man, I was and I still am involved in the Black Consciousness movement. Yeah, Steve Biko. So Maburu about Tochara. There's a place in Pretoria Street, Barke compound buildings. What you call the police museum. You come left so. So they used to do those kind of things. They used to torture us. What about a donor? So that experience brought back that memory of being tortured. But when Bara said, I'm not go Satan. So they went and injected that, whatever it is. Was not I'm like, damn. So then we went past that one. balokela those needles through they pierce, I think, through Mkuva, and then they go into your body and by that, whatever it is. And then we went through that. After that, then they said, okay, so what happens? This needle is nuclear medicine. This one only time bomb. They like in your body, boom, 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 boom. They explode, boom, boom, boom. Share we know about explosives. Boom, boom, boom. They explode, and then they explode this cell. Then after some time, when I went for checkup, they say, hey, there's still a percentage of cancer, whatever, in your body. It's once we either chemotherapy or radiation. I'm lucky. Look at my logs. A lot of people, how about for cancer thing, but meriri ya bona or whatever, ya fela ke letsola bona ba shebile meriri because of the radiation that they use. It burns good cells, the bad cells. So I opted for the radiation because like sort of how does it go? I went for radiation. Now it's also a painful experience because although you are tired, you are fatigued. I lost everything that I had. I couldn't eat. Taste. I couldn't smell food. I couldn't taste, you know. But the beauty is, guess who I had around me during that time? It's happening during the time Yabo Ramadan, Ashiba. Ashibale. Every day, I'm married, one this is an issue. But I'm not telling them about this. Because I don't want to scare them. So these guys, they come, they stand by my gate. Bo, 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 bo. Hey, I'm not Sheikh, relax. Hey. Hey, then I take food, I go and eat. You know, great. These guys, I can't divulge. You see, there's the other thing I don't know, men. These are men. I should have talked to them. But you don't. Radijimal. How would I get help if I don't know? Because abasotontlisiza dijo tlo re tima le wa lwala ga ba re ka jaja ke tsena go panini ka jaja go so that was the journey that I traveled via radiation and then the rest ke tla di tlogela ke tle more the last one yeah 2 weeks ago again something that I don't like but so every other 3 months we go for checkup like go to check out oil but check out status house when I went there they said you are responding positively Sheikh except that there's still some activities in your prostate. I'm like, what activities? And the Sanzo says, hey, he's selling an Azakins. I said, like, how many? 2, 3, 40, 50? No, 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 Bilal, don't worry. We're getting there. I'm like, Sheikh, be honest with me. Are we getting there or we not? He said, no, we are going there. But what we need to do is to conduct a nuclear, I didn't know about that. And thanks Allah, they didn't prepare me. We are going to have to conduct a nuclear medicine scanning. So 2 weeks ago, Kamantaha, Kideko Netke, Mill Park again. I saw things that I hate, needles. What this leader did line? We are going there. So they explained to me that what we need to do is we need to plug in this liquid through you, and then from there it goes through your antenna, and then we scan you. And it's going to take 15 minutes to 20 hours, 20 minutes to an hour to 3. So Razena Gamola, they tell me, please, you don't move, because if you move, we start afresh. Ish. Now the pain, yeah, being there again, lying down there, and I started reading my suras and all those things. Hey, Allah, give me the strength to go through this. This is a temporary. Nagoya is, uncle, you have 3 minutes left. This is harassment in the house of Allah. Okay, let me wrap it up. Let me wrap it up. About 3 minutes. I'm suddenly saying, age, now go moholo, suddenly 10 more minutes. No, it's okay. Thanks, Manala. So maybe at this stage, what I should do, let me conclude this to say, my journey of resilience, I see I get Allah one the strength, the support that I got from people. So now in my personal capacity, what I do is organize every year, you walk, and you organize folks like traveling in this space to come and talk to our people. Maybe at this stage, what I'll do is I will just leave it there. If there are any other questions at some stage, please feel free to ask me. Let's give thanks and glory to Allah for all the strength and all the mercy that He has spared us through. I'm living testimony of Allah's mercy because during this process, I got paralyzed. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. But look at me today. May Allah be blessed.
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan. Ish. You know, we wish for such programs, for it must continue. Ne? And Raoul Kwali uncle, as he relates, there's one thing amazing, uncle. He's one of the elders who proudly he doesn't hide what he went through, the life journey. So he's showing us, especially now the young people, to say, even the elders also, and especially men, to say, prepare yourself if you have to come through this. Nabona lidi pain avulela ngore, hey, what you went through, kuri you can relate to say, you know what, there are certain things we need to understand and learn that, you know, to avoid ourselves from entering in this kind of situation. What is it that we need to do? We did want to say maybe we the question and answer. So Kavona or Uncle, he wanted more time, so we couldn't give that time. So inshallah, as time goes, because we're gonna be having the next speaker, and then maybe after that you can have that interaction. Yeah, with the uncle the questions, he can answer some of the two questions with combined with the next speaker today. And yeah, a lot we learned from uncle. Jazakallah khairan uncle. And I'm sure Majid, prostate cancer is serious. Yeah, ne? The sky is hard. Let's not be scared of it. Uh, as we continue, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, honored guests, respected community leaders, elders, brothers and sisters who are watching online, because none of them who are watching online, and all members of our community. Once more, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, we gather for a very important and meaningful program, our mental health awareness and empowerment program. This gathering reminds us that our well being is not only about caring for our physical bodies, but also about nurturing our minds, our emotions, and our spiritual strength. Islam teaches us the importance of compassion, supporting one another, and seeking a solution when we face difficulties. As a community, we have a responsibility to create space where people feel heard, valued, and supported. It is therefore a great honor and privilege to welcome our main speaker today, Brother Hakim Anderson Lesolang, who is a psychologist, an author, trauma healing practitioner, and personal transformation specialist. Through his knowledge, experience, and dedication, Hakim has committed himself to helping individuals and communities better understand mental health, emotional healing, resilience, and personal growth. His work reminds us that seeking help, gaining knowledge, and supporting one another are signs of strength and wisdom. Today, we open our hearts and minds to learn, reflect, empower ourselves and our community. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his gathering, make it a means of benefit, healing, and positive change, and grant us the wisdom to care for one another. Brothers and sisters, gentlemen especially, with great respect and appreciation, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker today for today's program, Brother Hakim Anderson Lisolang, inshallah, with enough time. And inshallah, I'm sure he likes more of interaction and knowledge, giving us the knowledge. And guys, it's the time, inshallah, to welcome Brother Hakim. Bismillah. Please join us, inshallah.
MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. Am I audible?
Yeah.
All right. Minor correction there. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a practicing complementary therapist. Hypnotherapy is my trade.
Oh, he
Yes.
Arabic name.
So, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum salam wa
Like
rahmatullah.
I wa fit. Bishop. Let's go with shy. Let's go with shy wa fit. So, I'm grateful to Allah that He's preserved us enough for us to come to this session today. Um, Mental health, emotional well-being. For me, when you master them, are a huge part of success in your day to day, not just in life, but in your day to day. The challenges that Allah has given you, the trials that Allah has given you, the hurdles that Allah has given you are a blessing. And I know that I'm speaking on the other side of a lot of the things that I've faced myself personally. But I want to guarantee you that majority of the hardships that you faced in life are a huge blessing because once you sit with a professional who can help you catalyze those things and use them as propellants towards the kind of life you've always wanted to have, you're going to look back and notice that Allah has always been merciful, even with those challenges. So I'm saying that to say to you, do not give up. Don't give up on yourself. Do not give up on Allah. Do not give up on your journey in this life. I'm starting this talk today saying that particularly your challenges are a huge mercy in your life. So I'm going to start with a story. It's a metaphor. It's got a character. It's got an analogy. Once I'm done with the story, take out the character, take out the scenarios that I'm painting, and then compare that character's journey with your life, especially as Munna. The story goes, it's very simple. There's a brother, he comes up from the same environment we come from in the township. He's raised in the same environments that we're raised in, a mother, a father. Father is probably not emotionally present for him. The mother is constantly overworked, stressed out, and just tired. So he goes to school. He's got siblings. He goes to school and does really well in school. He performs really well in school. Challenges here and there. And then he matriculates. And on the day or the week that he's matriculating, he finds out that the parents didn't save up enough money for him to go to college or to tertiary or to take his education forward. So what happens is that in the weeks where we're supposed to write, prior to those weeks, there's like universities come, companies come, and they kind of canvas. They say, hey, this is what we're offering. Maybe you should take it. None of the things that are being presented are options for him because they require money. But the military comes, and the military paints a really good story. Come, study for free. You're going to travel the world. You're going to work. You're going to have benefits, retirement, all of that. You're going to have all of those things. And he's like, oh, okay, that's a great offer. So I'll take it. So he takes the offer, writes his exams, passes matric, flying colors, and then he leaves. Goes and he trains, signs a contract, trains, and he graduates. On the day that he graduates, though, graduates cum laude, on the day that he graduates, war breaks out somewhere in the world. So he signed up to be a soldier, right? Signed up to be a soldier, so gets flown out with the rest of his battalion. Immediately as he lands, it's war. Bombs are flying, missiles are being thrown, people are fighting, people are screaming, people are dying. And he's part of the army, so he has to do what he's commanded to do. So he goes and he fights and some things he wins, some people he loses. Sometimes he loses, sometimes it's a good day, sometimes it's a bad day. And this thing rages on and on and on and on and on and on and on until a day where they kidnap one of the teenagers in the place and they interrogate him. In the interrogation, the teenager says, "You're the enemy. You're the warmonger. You're the criminal. You're the one who's invading our lands. We're just protecting what's ours." And then it clicks to him that, oh, I am the enemy because the things that we've been doing have been to kind of raid everyone. I'm the cause. I signed the contract. I studied. I did this. And I'm here because of my decisions. Right? So time goes on and he tries to block it out. So the thing that he uses in his mind is the image of Gas, where he comes from. Yes, Gas is chaotic, but it's not as chaotic as this. Yes, it's loud, but it's not as loud as this. Yes, it's like I could control my peace. I could control my movements where I was before. So he likens it to that and he keeps that image in his head because that's the only peace that he remembers having in his life. Years pass and he keeps this image and it keeps him sane, though he knows every time I pull a trigger, every time I make a decision to throw this grenade, every time I do something, I get torn from my moral center. So the goodness that I know I am, the best that I know that I am, the person that I know I am, he gets torn from himself. So as time goes, the war pauses. Some quiet nyana time in his life. And they say, you have an option. You can stay and keep fighting when the war resumes, because it's going to resume. Or you can go home, still get your benefits. It's like, I didn't sign up for war, I signed up to study, right? So he goes home. As soon as he gets home, the people of Mogasi take him as Labra. Odrile. They don't take him as the person who's gone through all of those things. Kidibra, you know? So they take him as the person who left, and they treat him like that. Just the guy who graduated and goes kolong. Oh, oh, no, okay, sure, marumukasi aribajita sharp. But in his mind, in his heart, in his body, there seems to be this disconnect. It's like he's three, four people at the same time. At night he can't sleep because he thinks sorry, the stuff that he did is gonna follow him, right? Drinks pills, drinks alcohol, smokes, anything to distract himself from feeling the things that he felt when he was that side. But he can't because the body's the body. And he gets married, finds it very difficult to connect with the wife. He has becomes a father, finds it very difficult to emote and be with his children because the only time he remembers giving love to someone was the time when he was growing up. So then he repeats the same thing that Daimon was doing. But he finds it difficult to do that because there's also just that disjuncture within him and his father. That's where the story pauses. And I pause the story there particularly because I want you to take that character out. I want you to take the war analogy out. Then tell me what is the difference between this guy and your lived experiences. I always get the silence. I always get the silence because there is no difference, whether you're a woman or whether you're a man, especially in the environments we come from, especially in the country and the continent we come from. That is trauma. Trauma causes moral injury. Moral injury is you know what's good, you were raised with good and bad, you were taught what's good and bad. Islam teaches you what's good and what's bad. But because of the environment we're raised in, because of the situations we find ourselves in before Islam, even as a Muslim, they cause a disjuncture within yourself, cause incoherence within yourself. Life happens, and we can't stop life from happening. That's why you need tools, mental tools and emotional tools. So there's a huge difference between the big T of trauma and the small t of trauma. The big T of trauma is the car accidents, the robberies, the hijacks, the stabbings. You see someone die, you watch your partner's body in a morgue, or your father, or your friend. Those are the big T's of trauma. They shake you inside. Then there's the small T of trauma that are never discussed. They never ever discussed when it comes to trauma, that is, black trauma particularly. Ke go omanyiwa, to be yelled at as a child, to be beaten as a child, to be compared as a child or a teenager to your next door neighbor, to your cousin, to your this, to your that, to not have a father in the household who raises you, to have a father in the household who raises you, but he's not emotionally connected to you, to have a parent, a mother who is stressed out, who's depressed, who is anxious, yelling, screaming, and shouting, to fight, physical fights, being cast out. All of these things, plus the big T of trauma, the small t of trauma and the big T of trauma, they all have the same effect on the body. And the body always remembers how it felt when those things happen. It always remembers. It never actually leaves those things. You never leave the things that happen to you. You never move from the point that those things happen to you. So you grow up, yes, body changes, your voice breaks, you get a job, you get, like wahola, but you never leave the point where any of these things impacted you at all. The body stays there. In psychology, it's called arrested development. So you develop physically, but mentally, emotionally, you're still stuck in that place. And you don't move from that place. I can give you a little example, especially with us as Majid. How many of us said to ourselves when we were growing up, or I don't want to let daman point at time. You guys are fathers today. How many ways and how many times do you see your father in your actions, in your speech, in your behavior, in your mannerisms? But you said, I don't want to be like this guy. We build an identity based on who we don't want to be like, what we don't want to be, but because that's a reference point, that's an identity. So you never leave it. It never leaves you until you decide to work through those things. So I'll give you like a little biology of how trauma affects us as black men. Ages 1 till 6, your brain is in download phase. And when your brain is in download phase, you're looking at life. You smile, everyone laughs. Or you cry, they feed you. They burp you, they nurse you, or they put you to sleep. You make a little gesture, the whole entire world moves. And you get used to that. That's the peace, right? I call those years the years of peace, the years of abundance, the years of everything is yours. The world is in the palm of your hands, literally. Ages 6 up until 12, you start noticing shifting hands, shifting sands in your life. You go to school, your sibling probably gets born around this time. You try to do that Gugu Gaga thing, and they tell you, no, 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 be quiet, Didiman. The elders are talking, and you talk, and they say, hey, Didiman. They shut you up. You fight, or something happens in the house with the younger sibling, and they break a plate. Bashapa wena, right? Diamality Emma are fighting, you see that, right? You probably lose grandparents, or a parent passes away, or they get divorced, they separate. You start noticing these shifting sands, and you start looking, you're still trying to go back to 1 and 6. You're fighting to go back to 1 and 6, but no one is allowing you to go back there because uhodile, but you don't have an opinion, you don't have a voice, you don't know, don't do that, don't do this, keep quiet. Wow, so can't watch until 11, right? Your friends tease you, probably, if you wet the bed, your siblings tease you, your cousins tease you, you know? You make a mistake and you fight with someone in school, bahoshap when you get home. Bahoshapa in school, bahoshapa when you get home, and then on the weekend they're going to call your uncles. They're going to hotfell you, right? All these things, you start noticing this shifting sands and you get stuck there. Every single time something happens, it shocks your body and it shocks your nervous system and you keep getting stuck there. right? But you move because tomorrow is the next day. I still have to go to school. I still have to do homework. I still have to play sports. I still have to do this. So you keep moving, but you're moving, but your life is stuck there. Ages 12 until 24, I call these the mask years because this is probably where you've kind of made ritual me, you know, Pule Kwale, Tabo, this, that, probably maneuvering around the neighborhood with a lot more ease. You're not listening to your parents anymore because they tell you to do this, but they do that. So when they're not looking, you do that, but you come into the house and you do this, right? So you're wearing different masks for different people and different crowds. So you're a good kid in the house and you play the good kid card. But outside, if your parent was to see you, "Hobuachai, otoshapi." If a neighbor sees you, "Hobuachai, otoshapi." Right? So you learn to hide yourself. You learn to hide behavior. These are the type of friends that you make as well, and they allow you that range of expression, that range of freedom. So you don't call each other out, you don't correct each other, and every time you try to correct someone, you become the enemy of the group. They ostracize you and like they kick you out of the gang. So you're not part of us anymore because we get a bit there. Ages 24 or around these ages, 12 till 24, late teens. Some of us are active, you make babies, you probably get married if you're blessed enough to become a Muslim and you marry early. You become a parent, ages 24 till today, till now, till here. You're surviving every single decision you've made ever since you were 6. That's the biology of trauma in a black life. I want to say any questions, but I'm kind of used to saying that at this point of the story. But I want to continue and say that Allah never creates a problem, a challenge, a trial without a solution. Ever. It doesn't exist in nature. It doesn't exist in life. So the biggest challenge for Unayas black folk, black Muslims particularly, is that I was telling Abuti that a lot of the things that we know are good for us live here. They're cognitive. We understand very well. We understand, but it's very difficult for majority of them to translate into actions and into a way of life because they haven't translated emotionally. How many times have you been told if you cry, you're weak? And yet the Prophet cried so much he had tear streaks on his face. So there's a disconnect even in a lot of the things, a lot of the goodness that we learn in Islam, in Deen, about the character of the Prophet when it has to translate to us acting and moving because it hasn't translated emotionally. And the world of emotions is a world we are strangers to. We tap into it here and there because, we're husbands. We tap into it here and there because, we parent. But it's very difficult for me to emote with my brother. It's very difficult for me to show emotions because then that vulnerability will then get exposed to Majitama or to women or to the neighborhood or to my neighbor, or I'll find it on social media. And Renale shame, Renale guilty, Renale anger. We have a lot of anger and resentment and frustration towards the world, towards our wives, towards our parents, towards our children, even towards our friends, towards our brothers, towards other races. We have a lot of anger, and that anger has never been processed. And the roots of that anger comes from when we were young, coming into adulthood. The majority of these things compound on top of each other until a point where they create stress. And if these things start creating stress in your body will catalyze that stress and create autoimmune diseases. We're going to have crazy migraine headaches. We're going to develop a little pot belly, askisi for navama. We're going to develop, like, we don't drink, but we already have like stress is already showing, right? Creates tumors, creates cancers, creates a lot of maladies that are very avoidable, but they're avoidable when you master the world of your emotions. The world of your emotions is mastered through the mind. Allah says He'll never change the condition of a man until He changes his condition, which is why I chose the kind of practice that I specialize in now. Changing your mental condition, your emotional condition, changes your external world entirely. Changing the lens you're using to look at you, the language in which you speak in, the tone you keep with yourself in your mind, the things you say to yourself, or about life, or about other people inside, changes your world outside. It changes the dynamic of how you interact with everyone around you. Like I said, Allah does not create a problem without a solution, or without 100 solutions for that problem. That's why you do not go to a plumber for heart surgery. You go to people that specialize in the very thing you're finding difficulty with. But before you go to those people, you need to first open up. You need to learn to open up. To open up, you need to learn to trust that the help you want, you can actually get. And before even that, you need to trust, brothers, you need to trust that you're worthy of the help. That you're worthy of the help. That you're deserving of the help. That you sometimes you don't even have to be anything to anyone with anything for them. You have to believe it. Because isn't that part of believing in mercy? Isn't that part of believing in the mercy of Allah? Or do we look at the mercy of Allah as we measure it based on what we can give another person, or our capability to give another person? Or do we truly believe in what Allah says about His mercy? That it's all encompassing and it's everywhere at every time. That whenever you need it, you can access it. But even without your need, that mercy is still there. You have to trust in the fact that you are worthy of that help, that you can overcome these challenges, that it's not a weakness to feel weak or weakened. It's not a weakness, it's just a condition. To us, it's just data. Your story and the things that you went through, it's just data to me. And it's data that I use to help our clients. You can transform your life rapidly. You can change your condition rapidly, but you have to believe it. That's why I tell people before you come to Fola, our company, I'd rather you go through everyone first. I'd rather you test out every other thing first. But you have to deem yourself worthy of the change that you want. Because that change is possible, especially if it's good for you. It's possible. You can have it. So, how do you have it? In my practice, we specialize in 4 methodologies. First, I used to be shy to say this, I don't know why. It's silly to me now when I look at it. It's hypnotherapy. You can ask questions about what hypnotherapy is after I'll answer. Number 2 is cognitive behavioral therapy. Number 3 is neurolinguistics programming. Number 4 is neuroscience. We specialize in this. First part of your session, you're going to talk. I'll ask you a series of questions, and you're going to tell me what the issue is, what the presenting issues are. And then I just take, it's just data. I just take that, a little bit of psychoeducation as to how you came to where you are, or why things are happening the way that they are. And then the second part of the session is getting into your subconscious mind. I'm not getting in there, you are. You know why they call people masterminds? Because people have mastered their mind. You have mastered the function of your mind. Like I said, the mind is the doorway to your entire body, to your heart, to your gut, to your prostate, even I might gesture, you know? A lot of the depression you have, the anxiety you have, the self-esteem issues you have, the lack of confidence you have, the anger you have, the frustrations you have, the anguish, the shame, the frustration, and more. Weight gain, mobility issues, a lot of that, it's all in here. It's all the things that have happened over time that have affected how you feel about yourself. So we go to your subconscious mind, and using what you told me in the first part of the session, we then go and change. You don't relive majority of the stuff that you suffered. You only review it and decide which one has the biggest emotional charge and which one doesn't. And if the emotional charge that's positive is low, you can actually turn it up higher. You can, because Allah is amazing in how He created you. He truly is amazing. But we don't tap into a quarter, an inch even, of how incredibly Allah has created us because we don't venture into the emotional. We don't venture into our makeup as human beings, not just as a black man, not just as a Muslim, not just as a brother or whatever titles you have. We don't venture into the makeup of what how incredibly Allah has created us. And I want to gesture to you today, or please don't even try. Like just be curious enough to find out how amazingly Allah has created you, because it's beyond imagination. It is beyond. So be interested in your mental health. Be interested in it because you can master it. You can change it. It doesn't take more than an hour. It doesn't take more than a year for your life to look better than it looks right now. And if it looks better, it could look magical even after. Because we're always seeking more, right? Like you want to get to a place where you're financially free. Then you become financially free and you want to have X amount of figures in your bank account. Then you get the X amount figures in your bank account and you want even more, or you want to do more with it. You want to be able to memorize the Quran. You want to pray with khushu. Once you pray with khushu, now you want to do more. We always seek more. We always want more. And if the more you want is the version of yourself that achieves closeness to Allah, be curious about how He's created you. You already know what to do. You already know how to do it. But be curious to find out why. What is the purpose that He created you for? And then clear everything mentally and emotionally that's standing in your way of being that. If, if I could, before you take me off the stage, I'd like to do a little exercise with the brothers. Do I have time? Jazakallah. You should have given it to him. should have should have given it to him. You know? So I'd like, if you would like to, only if you want to, whatever heaviness you came in, whatever heaviness a client of mine comes in through the door with, they don't leave with it. So whatever it is, however big it looks, however troublesome it is in your life, you need to turn yourself into the person who can face it. So if you'll allow me and like give yourself permission, I'd like to do a little exercise where I can help you with that heaviness. Only if you want. Only if you want. You guys, are you brothers willing? If you're not willing, you can say, hey, when I hypnotize us here. You can say no, you know. But if it's a yes, then please move forward. You can move forward and we're going to like be in a row, in a swap. Come, please, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Yes. Yes, no, it is. It is. Allah created you with a mind. Or if you want to know what hypnotherapy or what hypnosis is, if you want to know what it is, you can ask questions before we do the exercise. Right? Hypnosis is just a deeper form of focus. You go into hypnosis at least 5 times a day. You can spread your legs, just sit down, like maybe like this. Whenever you find this, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm gonna need you to put your hands on your thighs. Don't worry if your body goes back. It's a mat. You won't knock your head. You're fine. Maybe create space Nyana, between each other. Um, it's just a deeper form of focus. You go into hypnosis at least 5 times a day. You have a brain. Your brain is three parts: conscious mind, critical faculty, and your subconscious mind. Right? So when you're reading a book, you ever read like one page of the Quran and you're stuck on that page and you have to repeat it again and again, but your mind just keeps going through the page or through the letters? That's hypnosis. You ever watch TV and it's almost like you're watching through the screen and you have to repeat the scene? That's hypnosis. Driven, or you were driven by someone and your mind just went somewhere and then you come back. That's hypnosis. It's not magic. It's not voodoo or anything like that. That's just the way the brain works. What we do in hypnotherapy is we use what the brain already knows well how to do. And you go into a deep state of trance and relaxation. It's going to be amazing. You're going to thank me after. You're going to thank me after this. The first time I did this, I wish I could do it again the first time around. So you don't need to. I don't control minds. I won't ask you for your pin. That's people's worry that I'm gonna ask them for their pin. I'd be richer now, but I'm a Muslim. You're morally oriented as a Muslim man and a Muslim woman. So there's nothing bad that I'm gonna say that you're gonna take with you. You're always gonna take the good and you're going to use the good, which is what I implore of you. Whatever it is that I said, whatever it is I'm going to say, whatever it is that I do, whatever it is I'm gonna do, if it's bad, you don't take that. You know it's our rule. You take the good and the good only, and the bad you leave it with me and Allah. Right? You make dua for me that I do better. That's our way, right? So it's very simple. I'm going to ask you to rub your hands together like so. Rub your hands. The sisters are doing it too. So if your wife is here, alhamdulillah. So clasp your hands together like so, tightly. Tight, tight, tight. Make sure your palms are pressing together. Then you do like gun fingers. You point this index fingers out. And I want you to look at those index fingers in between them and only focus on those in between and the sound of my voice. So raise them up a little bit higher. Raise them just above your eye line like so. Make sure your palms are super tight. And focus on the space in between your fingers. Only on the space in between your fingers. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. A deep breath in. Exhale. Take a mental picture of that space. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And I want you to close your eyes down and imagine that space. Just keep a mental picture of that space. Mental picture of that space. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Only listen to the sound of my voice, closing your eyes down. Imagine those two fingers have magnets on them. Take normal breaths. And as you imagine that space in between your fingers have the two magnets. Imagine those magnets coming closer and closer, and closer and closer, and closer and closer. That's right. The closer they get, the deeper into relaxation your body goes. The deeper your body goes into relaxation, the more relaxed all your muscles feel. The more relaxed all your muscles feel, the more those fingers move closer and closer and they get tighter and tighter immediately as they touch. And immediately as your fingers touch, now, I want you to imagine yourself going to a beautiful place, a magical place, an amazing place, a place where your whole entire body, all your muscles can completely relax. And the moment you get that picture of you going to that powerful place, that beautiful place, that amazing place, the more your hands start to relax and they float down. You can keep your eyes closed. Imagine yourself going to that place, that beautiful place. quiet place, a place you like. Your hands can float down to your thighs now. As they float down to your thighs, I want you to imagine all your muscles unwinding, releasing that tension. And you can drop your hands down slowly. Drop your hands down slowly. And as you drop your hands down slowly, you go further and deeper into relaxation, into calm. Calm your mind, calm your heart, calm your body. Your hands are going to go down to your thighs. Allow them to go down to your thighs. And as they go down to your thighs now, any resistance that you're holding in your body dissolves away, falls away, fades away. Boima bo botlhe bo le bo ntse bo tshwere ka mo mmeleng, I want you to imagine it dissolving, fading, disappearing. And to imagine yourself releasing Boima bo. I want you to imagine it like a ball of energy in your chest. And imagine where Boima bo bo tswang ko teng. Whether ke motho, ke selo, it's an event in your life, whether that energy is holding stress or pain or anguish. I want you to imagine it coming to that energy in the chest, creating that energy ball. It's not a painful ball, it's a light ball. Let it build. All of them. Put them in the ball. Whether ke mafoko a ba boleletseng ona, whether ke ka mokgwa motho a tshwereng ka teng, whether ke ka mokgwa dilo tseo ne di o tshwere ka teng all along. Could be from a year ago, a month ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. It could be from as early as yesterday or from as late as 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. Build it up in your chest. Then I want you to imagine that ball going to your right shoulder, down into your elbow, all the way up into your wrist and the palm of your hand. Then I want you to imagine your fingers on your right hand spreading out. Spread out your right hand's fingers and let that ball go. Let that ball go. Feel it, imagine it, feel it leave you. Feel it dissolve, feel it take every single thing away. More and more and more. Spread those fingers out and watch that ball leave you. Any feelings that are negative, any images of negativity and weight, any thoughts of Wimabo, let it go. Any emotions that Wimabo, let them go. More. Any sensations that Wimabo, let them go. Feel it leaving your body, leaving your heart, leaving your mind. The more it leaves, the more loose and limp your body gets. The more your body gets loose and limp, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more relaxed you become. The more relaxed you become, the happier you feel. The happier you feel, the more you cannot contain the happiness in your heart. So let your heart feel joy that you're here. Let your heart feel contentment that you came. Let your heart feel at ease. A huge acceptance of where you are, how you are, and a deep knowing, a deep, powerful, beautiful knowing that you can face any adversity, any challenge, any hardship that comes your way can be faced. That even if it comes into your body and stays in your body, every breath you take in and out easily allows your body to release that. So your body is not a place now that can store any tension, that can store any resentment, that can store pain, because you can easily breathe in and out and release it. You can easily breathe in and out to release it. Notice the relief building up from under your feet, all the way up your ankles to your knees, to your stomach, to your lungs, to your heart, to your shoulders, to your mind. Your mind becomes clear. Your heart becomes full. Once again, you can't contain that happiness. You can't contain that joy. You can't contain that ease of being. It's just happening naturally, beautifully, amazingly, and it's happening for you. Let it happen and enjoy it. And in that enjoyment, I'm going to count you down from 5 down to 1. Every number that I count is going to help you go loose and limp and relaxed. Eyes closed. 5. Go deeper. 4. Only focus on the sound of my voice. Let your hands completely relax. Down. Now. 3. All your muscles loose and limp and absolutely relaxed. 2. Give yourself full permission to enjoy the next few minutes. 1. Allow yourself to sleep, drift, float, sink deeper. Whatever it is you need to forgive yourself for, forgive yourself. Let it go. Remove yourself from the feelings of anguish and anger over the thing you did or the thing that was done to you, to them. No matter where it is in the past, I want you to imagine that scenario that you couldn't forgive yourself for shrinking so small that it goes to the size of a dust speck, just a speck of dust. Feel your body shrinking it to that dust speck. Now, and let it float away in the wind. Where it is in the past, I want you to imagine yourself leaving that point and coming to here and now. And immediately as you come to the here and now, notice how your body isn't containing any form of pain, any form of distress or anguish. Notice it. Notice how empty your body is, how empty your mind is, how clear you feel about yourself. Notice how much your heart is enjoying it, how much your heart likes it. Notice how much more stronger you feel, empowered you feel, capable you feel. Feel capable, feel powerful, feel empowered. Then raise it up to a level 10. And a level 10 is the highest it can get. Raise it up now. Mind, body, heart, raise it. Now, mind, body, heart, raise it. Now, mind, body, heart, raise it. now, mind, body, heart, and enjoy it. Turn the volume of that happiness in your heart all the way up. Now, on the count of five, I'm going to wake you up from this deep trance. When I wake you up, your body is going to feel completely relieved. The mind is going to be clearer than it's ever been, and you cannot go back to the things that you released. It's difficult for you. Because it's difficult for you, you lose interest in it, in holding on to it, or referencing it as a way of being. Your heart is just going to be overjoyed. So much that you can't help it but laugh and smile. One, feeling good, feeling amazing, feeling great. Two, acclimating to your body, back into the room, into the masjid, feeling incredibly relieved. Three, I want you to scan your body from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, inside and outside. And notice how much more good it feels to be in your body, in full control of yourself. Raise your level of gratitude higher, inside and out, for what you have and what you're about to gain, for what you left and what's not going to return. Four, and five. Eyes opening, waking up, feeling good, feeling amazing and great. Stretch it out, brothers. Assalamu alaikum. Stretch it out. Compared to where you were coming in and where you are now, how do you feel? Better? Good? Happy? Light? Good. Nice. Brothers are smiling. I like it. MashaAllah. That's just a tiny bit of what we do in Fola. That's just a tiny bit of what you can do. In Fola, there's 10 sessions that we do in a package called age regression therapy. Everybody goes through that package. You can't do anything else with us unless you do that. Teach you how to do this for yourself. And if you know how to do this for yourself, you know how to do it for the rest of your family. You know how to do it for a brother. You know how to do it for your wife. You know how to do it for anyone that comes in through your door with heaviness. Just in that first package, it's 10 months. It takes less than a year for you to feel this great. Yes. How do you feel compared to before? You feel great, you feel better. Master your mind. Master your mind, and you'll master your body. Master the body, you master the heart. Master the heart, the world is nothing. This is yours. This is your domain. He gave it to you. You're the son of Adam. You're the son of Adam. He gave you an incredible example in the Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's an incredible example of how to be excellent in your ways. Imagine doing this every morning, every week, every month for yourself. How much more easier would facing life be? How much more would you embrace the challenge as it comes? No matter how big it is. No matter how big it is. Because you notice that challenge is meant to make you better. And you can't avoid what God gives you. Why is it that we don't want to avoid the good? We want to avoid the challenges that He gives us. He presents us with challenges so we can be better versions of ourselves. But you need tools to face those challenges. This is one of those tools. And with this, you almost win every single battle that you face. So I implore you to be interested in your mental health, in your emotional well being. Now I just gave you a tool. Whenever a hard thing comes, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and release it. It's not meant to stay in your body. And because it stays in our body, it creates conditions where we give up on ourselves. When our wives see us give up on ourselves, they don't trust in our leadership. When your wife doesn't trust in your leadership, she's going to act in a way that she doesn't trust in your leadership. Then you're going to come to me and saying, my wife disrespects me. No, she saw how you don't want to face challenges and she couldn't trust her security to you. Our wives don't want to submit to us. Have you fully submitted to Allah? Have you fully submitted to the excellent example that our Prophet is to us? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You're capable of more than you know. You're capable. No matter how big your dream is, no matter how further you want to get in life, you can get there and you will. Gain tools, fill your toolbox. Don't use a spanner when you're supposed to use a screwdriver. Just want to wrangle things in life and use force. We're not people of force, we're people of power. So tap into it because He's given you everything you need to get everything you've ever wanted. And it's not far. I can promise you that. It is not far. So I'm going to end it there because I can talk your ears off. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you, brothers, for coming. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I'm here. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan, Brother Hakim. Yeah, well, I can also feel now I'm live, especially for Tina Abanya who run the community matters. So all those things comes inside, and our leaders here, Amir Sab. I think you must do this once every week or every month.
Inshallah.
Too much work.
Inshallah.
No more crying now. Alhamdulillah for the tools. You know, one of the thing is, I'm sure we in this kind of gathering, you don't just come here empty-handed and leave empty-handed. You come empty-handed and then you have gained such knowledge, which some people they say scholars don't mention that knowledge is vast. Some didn't understand the issue of the cancer part. Some didn't understand how to release their stress. I'm sure today, basadi ba safe go ntlo. Ha ba sa betha gore he ka tshwara ke stress just husa and do what you have learned today and cool down and be yourself and let us lead our family holds inshallah. I think in this time we're going to allow any interaction, question and answers, whereby we can interact with the two speakers here at the moment. As we are waiting for the other speaker, we just missing communication with them. So you can just maybe question and answers, anything with regards to today's two topics, with regards to the cancer issue, and also with regards to the mental awareness part of hypnotherapy. Yeah, I got it right now. First time getting less psychology. Now I got it right,
Yes.
hypnotherapy. So we're getting it right, inshallah. And then I'm sure the stage is open for each and every person here to ask any questions. And then also online, if there are any questions which are online for those who are listening, they can also still ask them through and we can read them through and then the guests can answer them relevantly, inshallah. So I think I'll take this for those who are online questions and I'll give Anke so that they can hear any questions coming through. Sorry, Anke. Now, Bismillah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Why I'm saying that I've been listening also to Brother Hakim also with Uncle Bilal through the experiences that our elder has went through. Also, it's a reflection as a community, men in particular, Muslim in particular, because of the space of us Muslims in township and coming together in this kind of discussion. Also, I'd like to thank also the Amir and the Peli Shura to organize also this kind of sitting. Alhamdulillah, it's important, it's progressive, and it's giving answers to the community. That's what we need, in fact, in our spaces, especially Black Muslims in township. Uh, I pick up now, what Brother Hakim has just, what is this, lectures us or teach us in particular, because we're here to learn. So one of the things that has related is the, Muslims in township and transition, because of when I'll talk more of when embrace. When you embrace Islam itself is a huge transition as a Black Muslim, uh, whereby the environment is against you, and you are the only person in what is this
Your
in the
family.
family as a Muslim. Now, the mental part about the transition as a young person, also as a elder person, those who are also working, those who are not working, for the youth who are not working and all that, those who still rely on their parents and all that. Now, you love your deen, and also there's these people who has to support you, but they're against the deen.
Yes.
So you need that the mental also kick in. So these are, subhanAllah, challenges that Muslim face, which we are not talking about.
Yeah.
Of which I think going forward, we should encourage also our ulama to, I think there's a clash in Islam itself regarding our ulama and Muslim professionals. There's this misunderstanding about each other because of Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, it's important we rely on the text and all that. But also, what is the condition of the time? What is the solution of the time?
Yeah.
Then, in reference also to Quran and Sunnah and all that. But do we answer those kind of questions? The rights of the Muslims with non-Muslims? What is the rights when he's under the parents, those who feed him and all that? What are the issues of halal and all that? These are mental issues.
Yes.
Like he said, Muslims who are learning, who are not even have a right to attend Jumas and all that. How does they go through mentally with their conditions? So, I'm glad it's happening and it is a start for all of us. But the mental issues in Islamic societies with taboos are very huge,
Yeah.
and they must be addressed.
Absolutely.
And we must link professionalism, Muslim professional in particular, and the ulama. Our ulama, they must come to play now, because of a lot of things are against us, including with the current setup in the country, whether it's an immigration issue and all that, because of people who are most affected are Muslims.
Yeah.
As much as some of the events and all that that include immigration are caused by Muslims, by the way. So we should be talking to ourselves more on these issues and involving whether the professional setup or the ulama in particular. But we must address the condition of the time because of, it's unfortunately all the time we don't address ourselves or our condition. We talk outside of our condition.
Yeah.
So, Shazakallah khair, inshallah, I'll leave it at that for now, but shukran for the opportunity and Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum salam. Before any response from the speakers, I just there was something which we were discussing. I think I also broke a little bit of the rule because we wanted it was meant for men, the program, and we wanted men to ask questions, and some might be personal, right? So we're not gonna use the mic for online, right? but the answer can be answered online. It's fine. So that we are hiding the identity because some people are able to determine the voice of a person who question and stuff like that. So question can be asked without the mic. However, answers they can be responded to. So we are trying to hide the identity of people who are here present, inshallah. So don't mind. Question can be asked. You can stand and ask question. You won't be shown online because the issue here, Renabanna, and then let us try and ask any questions. We you need answers with, or you need to you're allowed to report Renabanna fela. All together, brothers, inshallah. So that's what I'll make it clear, inshallah. So I'll leave this with Uncle for any answers, and then from there, anything else going forward, I will not allow it to go online, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Any response from this one?
Take it.
Yeah,
And then I'll answer
I
later.
think in regards to responding to issues of our time or the condition of the times, it's always on leadership to be responsive. It's always on the community. Let me start by saying we look at leadership to come up with solutions. But what solutions is an overwhelmed leader going to come up with? So we always need to look at the capacity of a person to give solutions at the time when solutions are needed. And then almost preempt that they might not come up with all the solutions or the right solutions of the time and come and assist. One of the issues in the community is that we're too quick to go to blaming those in leadership, and we're too slow to be adjacent or to offer vertical assistance, vertical help, vertical boosting to our leaders and our imams and to the shura. And I think that's dangerous because whatever discontent you feel as an individual, you're going to want it to be known by another person. When do we cross the line of backbiting? So it's a personal responsibility on you, the one carrying the discontent, to I always say this to spouses, that when you argue with your partner, when you have a query with your partner, go to your partner with 3 solutions that you both can implement together. I think similar exists in our communities or in our masjids or in our condition, that leadership is overwhelmed because they carry my problems and your problems and 10 more people and 100 more people, you know? They're carrying suicide cases, they're carrying depression, they're carrying miscarriages, and they don't know what to do with that because they don't have the right tools, emotionally, mentally, they don't have the right tools to manage themselves. And we look to them for solutions when we haven't exercised finding a solution or a likely solution to the thing that's happening. And then saying that I'm willing to build the solution into a real program with you. We almost eschew or excuse ourselves from the responsibility of bringing to life the things we envision for the masjid, or for the community, or for the wives, or for the brothers. We go quickly to the blaming, you know, we cross quickly to the backbiting. So I'm saying this as an answer and as a warning to us before we complain, before we give voice to the discontent. How much have you done? We all know. We all know. If you see wrong, speaking about it is the weakest of all faith. So how much action to improve the situation or to help improve the situation? Because if we haven't, we don't have a leg to stand on to even complain. Because that complaint is going to grow into someone's heart. You're going to say it to someone, it's going to grow as another discontent in another person's body. To voice it with a spouse. The spouse is going to voice it with a friend. The friend is going to voice it with a non-Muslim. The non-Muslim is going to look at Islam as a bad religion. So we almost always, and I say almost always to blame for our condition or the difficulty that our condition has caused. Right? So I implore you, if you have discontent, if what is man, voicing it is the weakest of all faith. Why is it the weakest of all faith? Because it's still a problem. And now it's a problem that belongs in another body, not just your body. So, how many solutions are you coming with, bringing them to the table? Upon bringing the solutions to the table in discussion with the leadership, how much work are you going to put in with the leadership or adjacent to the leadership to produce the solution or to make the solution something applicable when a brother plugs in or when a sister plugs in or when the group comes in or when a revert comes in? You know, we are people of solutions. We're very smart. So your smarts can't end up as a complaint. Can't end up as a complaint. If the imam is the problem, bring the people. Bring the people. You know, bring the people. Okay, imam, we see that you're having the trouble with this thing. This thing is troubling even you. Maybe we shouldn't have brought it to you. How can we alleviate it? If the imam is leading with the ego, then do it as a community, as a couple of brothers, and present it to him. Imam, here's the solution. You present it to the people then. What did you do? You fed the ego, you fixed the problem. Now the problem has a solution, the imam is presenting the solution to the community, it's done. The community is going to adopt the solution. But we don't want the imam to take credit for the solution we came up with. Also, we operating from the ego, you know? So before we blame anyone, caution yourself. Caution yourself, because you could be creating more fitna as well. But whatever discontent you have, Allah doesn't create a problem without a solution. And maybe you're the custodian of the solution in action and application. Jazakallah.
Yeah. Is it on? I think a lot has been said, and in part to add to what Brother Hakim has just said, and in response to the question you have raised, I would say as men and as community, we have different types of problems, and we have common problems as buntate or men. Even our kids out there are really different problems. The boy child. Just as a thought as I was listening to you, Brother Hakim, was to say we've got everything that we need to address these problems. Perhaps moving forward, we could consider more creating an angle here, a resource center. And when I say resource center, not anything big, but a facility where we could address different types of problems. One that comes to mind also is we can also have an online where people remain anonymous. I know for a fact that in other places like the Roman Catholic, Banadin confession, and the priest sits their side and the whoever sits their side and they come back confess, and the pastor doesn't see them. But in order to protect what you have just done, Brother Hassan, like protect the identity of the people who are raising the problems, Hard to know. Like today we are here. And this is a journey. If we start now to say, okay, what is it Erga Rona as individuals, as men here today? We don't have to have the solutions now, the answers now, but let's start somewhere. And then try to put an action plan. Because the tendency is to postpone and to defer the problems and to outsource the challenges to others. He has just so beautifully profiled it. The blame game goes on. Number one, it's part of who we are. Ra complain, njalo nje. Itimens basta dilele, tuwa mira wa tshware nako, jeke. Ona fela, kale zela re beresore ke tlala. You know? Oh, sorry, Amir. But it's just part of what is the whole board. The only thing Elena feeling as I grow up, in our cultural settings, barring wanosale, ushola thari. And the English folks, equivalent of that is that it's the hinge that squeaks that gets the oil. The flip side of that complaint is that perhaps arka change our terminology. Ya complainer. Perhaps really it is something else like challenges. Originally, then we can address it. Because if I give the Amir a call and say, hey, Amir, can I challenge you? This is my challenge, these are my challenges. And then with us men, we have been conditioned by society. Hormonal indoda aikale. If haula moka sirne esa bog di mane blair. Uma kalanjalo, uma hlala kalanjalo, kuro lezi ruri. Now, how can you get help or aid if you don't talk? Obona motho omwitse orne marjo shapo. But you can tell his brother is not cool, yo. He's not asmutugumizi. Until get like no in confidence, tell him who's Hinsa. Then you can say, hey, where's Gujarate 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There are issues. Even as far as Maubana was talking to the sisters to say, I'll be having this event. Bomme, please empower me. Your concerns. Now I'm bringing you the message. Bomme vare, buntate, ali open. You are a closed book. But after I've asked them that question, what is your cause? Lona, accept what is it that you have done? Open. I'm like, what do you mean? But for example, renally issue raising kids, absent fathers. I'm like, I know from personal experiences, I don't know the event. Let's say Sakasa cancer, my gen salite. There's need that. But you don't want to know your status. If I can put the facility at the truck, road tester for cancer. About you. Because the argument about that, why should we know? One also is a sale which is not right. So let us open up. In our relationships, go high. Mafwet, Majens. They have brought us here. Yes, we have challenges. We can say whatever we say, but that facility, Amir, the Imam, I set up a facility. Let us talk. Men talking to men. We can invite folks like himself, and Lenake is surrounded by people. He knows a lot of other people. We can even have an on can phone in. In the city of Tswane some years ago, and it breaks my heart because we set up, ne? We set up an online facility. Khona Vermeulen le Bosman, Kamo di Grootkerk on the first floor. Khona le a place, but ke Sidibe Hope, Sidiba Hope. Re ra negotiate le bona, re kgopela gore re set up this online thing. If anybody in the 7 regions of the city of Tswane lands into problem, ka cell phone ya hao, wa phone us through. Nna ke mo ketekete, ke mo plekeng mo Bosman le Vermeulen in. So we can see what we can do to dispatch help. It's doable. The only thing is Rona around here, let's do it. Maybe today, or next week, the strategy. But you are raising important questions. As Black Muslims, we have to look after one another. We have to talk to one another. Every Jumarayamada, Ratologa. But then I think we have to, as you pointed out earlier on, maybe this has to be an ongoing thing. Ke tla gogela morago ke fe other people a chance of asking other questions.
One from the floor and one from the stage. What is one of the like how can our community create environments that better support Muslim mental health?
I think houses of worship need to stop existing only as houses of worship. Houses of worship need to be community centric, and the community needs to be able to access multiple programs every day. I think that's one of the ways that we can help our community, our Muslim communities particularly, to grow better, to grow stronger. Any person who receives help from you and the help that you give them capacitates them to be better versions of themselves. They will always come to give back, especially if they're Muslim. They will patronize the place, they will grow the place, they will make sure that they spend whatever good it is that comes from them in that place. At least that's the tradition that I know as a Muslim. So I think our masjids, or the yards that our masjids are living in, needs to be more community centric and available and accessible to Muslims and the community at large as part of dawah, especially. Right? So mental health programs need to be, there needs to be a fallout situation in the masjid. There needs to be a practitioner available in the masjid, or a day or 2 days or 3 days that we know there's going to be this psychologist, this psychiatrist, this hypnotherapist, this coach that's available the whole day. Because majority of us who are practitioners, we work online as well. Majority, we work online. And so I think programs of that nature need to exist in every single masjid. And they need to be subsidized so that there's ease of access to those programs as well. Other than that, I think beyond counseling, beyond having sessions, beyond any of those, there has to be regular programming that promote healthy living, that promote healthy eating, that promote healthy marriages. You know, there's a lot of things we walk into marriages thinking we know, and then the responsibility is placed on your table, and because you don't have solutions for the thing, you withdraw. As Majita will do that a lot. You withdraw emotionally, you withdraw verbally, you withdraw. Sometimes you even withdraw financially. These are things that I should be able to come to my brother or to a counselor or to the imam with and say, hey, I'm having trouble with this thing. It really is challenging me. How can I sort it out? But that's not going to happen if we don't make the yards work for us as a community, for us as practitioners. You know, I think that's the best. I was going to make a joke, but I think I should leave it there.
Yes. Let me just add one or two or three or four. I think the solutions are coming. And thanks for the online question. The solutions are within our reach, as I also earlier pointed out that we've got everything that we need to address this. He talks about the houses of worship. I'm adding to also those facilities. Mo amazingly enough, there's 21 churches. That's small place. Every corner. Look at this section here. If we walk out of, how many churches do we have there? Elas Baya. But we have to change our mindsets. I'm adding to what he's saying to say, Rona as Muslims in particular and community members in general, we have to start with ourselves. I know for a fact that honali di social ka montle ka mo. And people spend money and time to prepare for one day when they are dead. And we're trying to re-educate our people to say, hey, man, look at us Muslims. Let's go that route. But it's also a process of how our people have been programmed by colonialism. So, retlemele re boele morago and look at within what we have, ke eng se re ka se etsang immediately. We can. Yes, we have a facility here. Yes, we can try and find folks to come in there. The program problems. Why do I always say program when I want to say problem? We're gonna make this program at you. People will say Auna Zaga. And I want to say we have money. We have money.
A lot.
And Allah has placed it in our hands.
It's a lot of money.
20 cents every Friday. I'll give you an example. I want you to look outside there. Can you see? Men, they don't get involved. There is a Wendy house, Ashili Emikamol. Libon. Libon.
Yes, sir.
Sheikh, that Wendy house, we put it together some years ago in response to the drug problems. Your community outreach substance abuse program, COSAB. But already drugs are kasi selo. Bafana ba bang mo plaza ba tsuba. Ashile. At least youngsters can go in there. There are people, it took time, but there are people, youngsters who can go in there, Bakara Tuso. We partnered with the University of Pretoria, even le Rona Kamo. We write up a proposal, we need some assistance, but let us start on our own. Within our circles, can we get volunteers once a week? Or an online thing, someone who can, I mean, I hear that there's unemployed youth, but to really pick up phones and say, hi, hello, Pele Muslim Shura, we say this is the Pele Community Center. It is. It is. So, Ritswere, the solutions, the only thing Rekemile Felare, just put some time aside and identify ways and means, strategic ways, strategic foresight. How are we going to address this? I'm still proposing that we have a resource assistance center or help center. In the legal terms, they call it a legal aid clinic. So I think if we have a community resource center we're about to for two, so then we are on the right track. I'm going to step back and allow our imam to carry on.
I see there are a lot of questions. People have asked questions at some point live. So I will request, I think, from Mohammed to we'll try and shorten this so we can try and
Yes.
answer as much questions.
And I think of the other questions that aren't going to be answered, that we have them and then we can respond online as well. Yes.
So we can ask maybe a couple of questions once. And I will sure. Okay. Question from Mohammed. Mohammed, there is a question from Jay. Another question, one from Facebook and one from. So can we take the first four? And then from there, we're gonna go on live, then we're gonna go another.
Another round, yeah.
Fine. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Today. Now.
And then what are the
Oh, are we going question to question? Okay, cool. Cool.
So it's the issue of
Symptoms.
when can
When can we get help?
Yeah. Okay, another question about this. For our cancer, yes. I can.
Nokwana wafa chance bazola belota icheka wayibudzisa.
Check it out when I get. Or Isha, okay, let's get first.
Cancer.
Yeah, so for line my experience, every time I do this, terminate, that is what amount of the rent. And then to myself, I was like, there was one brother who was here, but I think that he was what happened? Immediately when we went out, just went sick immediately. Within a week, it was so weak for about 6 months. Really connected to himself. So I thought to myself, if I can get sick in any way, then for me it's not the only very because now, if I get tested, then it's going to if I get sick. So I thought, let's see if I get only HIV direct. Other than that one, I don't check.
That's a logical response
That's how we
to an impending threat. Like you say, I'm not going to test this.
don't ask him gonna go next. Covered? Yes, brother.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
Follow-up question.
Walaikum salam.
Why is it easy for us as Muslims nowadays, as much as we have said, the problems that we see, how the syllabus now we are cooking alcohol and nicotine, and why is it easy for us we are food, those things other than other things to the couple, for not and they are alcohol or whatever to the system for us because nowadays we are having problems drinking, drugs and stuff. So how are we going to we as Muslims and how can we help like to access Muslims or relevant that it's a problem as a whole, not only for Muslims, but now we can see from Muslims that some believe openly and it's a time for a struggle for us as Muslims nowadays. How do you think? Because there are more but there is a lot for their food mechanism and they can I think because there are a couple of questions between people, we can allow the panel to answer them.
Yeah.
And then we will continue then, inshallah, the follow-up question. And before we continue, guys, I would like to welcome one of the Swane mayoral candidates in our midst. Alhamdulillah. I won't say the party, I cannot go campaign again, but it's a mayoral candidate. He left all his mayoral things, Alhamdulillah. He came here, he's a young African man from Kasi, Arambua, mostly very patriotic, who did everything and joined this program. Imam Hussein Father is the best, Alhamdulillah. Appreciate your time coming, inshallah. That one I will not leave it out.
Bismillah.
No, take it, please.
For Muhammad, what's the earliest time to seek help and what kind of symptoms do I need to look out for? So I'll address symptoms first. So you know how your body normally functions optimally. Like you know, whole shop. You know how function around, how function around, how function around your limbs, everything, right? The slightest change, or I can't do what I normally do. Go get it checked out. Go get it checked out. It doesn't matter what a consultation is, it doesn't matter. Go get it checked out. O sluggish, o feel you know, you're repeating dirty clothes, Like you just don't have a zeal for life. You don't want to talk to people. You cut people off and you isolate. You you don't eat or you eat too much. You forget to drink water or you drink too much water. You start drinking alcohol. You get angry quickly. You get irritated quickly. Go get it checked out. Go get it checked out. Mataha to one read too much. Go get it checked out. Saliva mulumaha tomo honna dry. Your joints start being painful. Go get it checked out. It's never too early. With therapy, don't start therapy when things are falling apart. You go to therapy so that when things fall apart, you know how to respond to them. I'm going to repeat that. Don't only start therapy when things are falling apart,
Mm.
because then you're going to pay more. Because I charge more. I'm going to charge you more because it's a lot of heavy lifting. I'm going to need therapy after I see you, right? So you do therapy, you do counseling, you do consultations before it becomes a problem, before it affects how you function, right? So at the slightest change, at the slightest noticing that I want capacity for delay, you find the right person to go to, right? I hope I answered that. How quickly, how soon, and the symptoms, right? So check out the symptoms. If your body's not functioning the way it normally functions, go see someone. You know, your GP will normally, your GP or general practitioner, your doctor, they'll they'll be the ones that escalate it to us. You understand? So they'll diagnose you with, oh, sorry, stress, right? And I know you're worried about, ish, what if I get checked out and find out that I have this condition and then the condition gets worse? Even that is a big telltale sign. Your defenses, you don't have any defenses. You know, you don't have any tools. You don't have anything you can use to counter the like. Once you find out about your condition, the mind, the brain is a survival tool. The mind, its main function is to have you survive and function, right? Heno shapi, what heno manu, or when you fail the test and then you were told a bad word, you're stupid, you're not, whatever, whatever. The brain closed whatever body part got affected, it closed tepe ele, affected that body part. Like there's a time in your life you just didn't mind Khoshapi way anymore. You just stood there and took the belt. Why? Because the brain shut down, whatever, right? But the more things happen to you, the more your brain shuts down, and the more your body gets affected. And the more your body gets affected, the more sicker you get. Think about all the things that have happened to you in life. You don't have physical defense against sicknesses. That's why when you go to the doctor and the doctor confirms already, when I live this thing, your whole body collapses. You are already weak. The body just needed confirmation because confirmation gives the body permission to feel what it's supposed to feel. Then your body collapses, you become weaker. But the sooner you attend to it, the more tools you can get. The more knowledge you gain, the more ways you can attack this thing and heal quicker, right? So that I'm sorry to say this to you. I'm sorry for this thing that I'm going to make you aware of. Life is not going to get any easier. I'm sorry to tell you this. This life is not going to get easier. It's not. The difficulty you avoided in the past, the next difficulty is bigger than that. The more tools you gain with the more challenges you're presented with, the better you are at facing the bigger thing that's coming. Please face the things that are coming. Don't avoid them. Don't put them off for another day. Don't postpone it. Don't give it to the next person. Don't make it your wife's duty. She's not a hospital. She's not a clinic. She's not a doctor unless she's a doctor.
Yeah.
Unless she's a doctor. But the next person cannot sort out your emotional maladies. They can't sort out your mental maladies. They can't give you self-esteem. It doesn't come up present. You have to build these things. You have to build resistance to life's challenges. Because it's not going to stop challenging you. And people that are challenged are going to challenge you. So because you know these things are coming and they're going to get bigger, act now. I'm saying act now, meaning today. Before I leave, I need to know how I can help. Put me to task. Because the worst thing we do is we attend these events and then we don't ask for help. Or we don't say, hey man, I might need your help in the future. You know, and then follow up. Once you see the doctor, follow up. Hey man, is there any food that I can eat? You know, should I stop doing cool drink? Should I stop doing this? Should I stop doing that? You know what I mean? Anyway, not to be long-winded, but would you like to jump in?
No, you've just covered.
Oh, sorry, I took your notes.
No, you just
Okay,
covered,
Poppy
Brother Mohammed. I can't re-emphasize how much he has just told you. Yeah, so snow, isn't no. And I want to acknowledge the presence of your presence, brother. Welcome to our masjid. Ke a thaba ho ho bona. O ska ba ena. We have lunch. But you came at a time when we are asking questions. Tsa bo ntate, bo men, what are these ditlhoba boroko? Some mental health. Please feel free, Luena, to ask a question about mental health that it relates to cancer and other things. Ne? Welcome. And then, Brother Kajaz, I'm not taking it away from you. Renale Mo Africa le yena, he's here to bless us with his presence. And then before o tla le ona ho na le mayoral candidate le ena a tlileng. So re tla bolela le bona morao re bone hore go bantsha bjang ka that discussion ya maobane ya Black Unity Front as black men. Re tlo tswela pele bjang. Mohammed, ska lebala. You have to talk to him. Retain. Brother Zain. Okay.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for raising the question that you asked. Ne? Your self-esteem, who to trust with your challenges or matata. I think it's very important to your self-esteem. Because ha re le mo ntle, o kgona from go high, go sekolong, or anywhere. What people say about you is not who you are. Community can judge you, they can talk you down. He talked about a challenge that we still have to address. The misinformation about us Muslims. Muslims, this is a religion, I'm Indian, all those kind of things, those stereotypes. So the question of self-esteem is extremely important. In relationships, sometimes you are raised to believe that you are inferior. And I can tell you without any fear of contradictions, to say as black people, we have been conditioned to believe we are hopeless, we are useless. And I always hear also my people say, you know those kind of things? We believed in them. Even to a sense that even we glorify Ridopela Kumanyalo. It sounds like a joke, but it's true. Today, as you and I go out, o lebelela mo ntle, o tlo bona to what extent, how strong that conditioning, yeah, self-pride, the identity of black people is. Our women, they're coming closer to Makhoa. You don't see it because it's fade, it's fashion. And if you talk about it, but it's a woman's entity, it's a woman's territory. Now, coming to us as esteem, as Banana, we have to empower one another and say, Brother Zain, you are who you are, but these are the tools. And then regarding the secrets, there are very few people who are indiscreet. Palone, immediately. So we have to also, it's again, let's talk now. If you come to me in confidence and trust me with your secret, I'll punish because you come in confidence over Tlatu, so we have to respect your privacy. That's why what I like about journalists, how come first story, they won't disclose their source. Kore le khet matlala ka tapa a re, ba ka se bolele hore ke mang. Because it's discipline. Lord, now we have to discipline along those lines. So we can condition ourselves to say, so that, folks, we really have to practice amongst ourselves. And then if one the question,
Yeah, I wanted to add to the self-esteem one.
yeah.
So you already know or have a clue as to what kind of life you want to live, or what your self-esteem volume needs to be. Every man knows that. You know how you want to function. You know, you know. I have a personal belief that if you know what that looks like, not even how it feels, but what that looks like, that you can achieve it, right? It can't, however, lean on Mutomo. It needs to be something that you build up inside yourself over time. The issue with a lot of us is that we start and then we quit. And then you start again after a long time, and then you quit. You start again, and then you quit. And then you start. So it becomes this start-stop thing that your body gets used to. Or if you start this, I don't know, 3 weeks, what will quit? You know what I mean? And I always say, if it's a good thing that you're leaving behind, then you're leaving yourself behind. So you're not quitting on the thing, you're quitting on the potential of what you can become. Self-esteem, confidence, self-trust, a deep belief in the fact that you can do the thing that you say you want to do. You build up to it. You build it. It's like a muscle, you know? And I'm imploring all of you guys to build it. Because you're gonna get married. And I'm certain every brother who's married is now aware that your partner becomes a mirror, and worse, a mirror to things that you haven't sorted out about yourself. So your poor self-esteem is going to show. Your lack of confidence is going to show. Your irresponsibility is going to show. You know, your lack of accountability is going to show. Your lack of responsibility, the ability to respond to life's demands of you as a man is going to show. And a woman, because of how Allah has created her, is going to point it out. And if she is fearful of you, she's going to take it on. Whatever it is you're supposed to do, she's going to take it on. When she takes it on, she goes into her masculine. If your woman goes into her masculine, you're going to feel for your manhood is challenged in your house or your apartment. And if you feel for your manhood is being challenged by someone who's supposed to submit to you, I don't get that in Islam, where because we created as equals. I never got that. Because we come up from negation. When someone who's supposed to submit to you is now operating in her masculine, and you have low self-esteem, you're going to withdraw emotionally. You're going to withdraw financially. You're going to withdraw physically sometimes. So I'm saying, don't leave yourself behind. The mirror is, if you're married, the mirror is always up. Take one thing, work on that thing for 3 months, 6 months. Take the next thing, work on that thing. You know, it's your duty as an individual. When your woman steps into her masculine, she's leaving herself behind. She's leaving the feminine behind. And when you eventually decide, well, you know what, let me step into my masculine. And if you do it, the moment she decides to get into her feminine, she's going to mirror you. A lot of the reasons why our marriages, no matter whether you're Muslim or secular or Christian, the reason why black marriages don't work out is because we come in with things we haven't resolved from our individual pasts. We never healed from those things. We never forgave those things. We never worked on the things we're supposed to work on. Someone asked me, how do I, as a man, then know I'm the right partner? So you have to be your favorite husband. You have to be the husband of your dreams. I'm going to ask you, the brothers that are not married, those that are espousing second marriages and third ones and fourth ones, I'm going to ask you a question. If the question is no, if the answer is no, you need to be the husband of your dreams. You need to work on it. There's a lot to work on. My question is, as Banana, we pursue, right? We want to pursue women. We want to be the ones that chase. But what I know from our beloved Nabi, what was his first marriage like? He was pursued.
Subhanallah.
Why was he pursued? Look at the qualities Khadija looked at in him. Reliability, responsibility, trustworthiness, character. This guy was funny. He liked kids. He was approachable, he was kind. He was courteous, he was respectful, right? He had all these qualities. My question, that's not my question. My question to you is, are you fussable? Are you fussable?
Ish.
Are you fussable? You can say yes. Are you fussable? You know, sisters don't want to approach. I saw someone, I saw a sister saying recently, just now on social media, she said, approaching a man feels like eating poison alive.
Ish.
The poison is alive and is wiggling and she's eating it. That's how difficult they find it to approach a man. Are you approachable? For nikah, are you fussable? By a sister? One. take it a grade up. Are you fussable by her family? Right? You have, in terms of self-esteem, I'm talking to self-esteem by the way, right? Because then if the answer is no, you've got work to do. And that work is going to build your self-esteem. And that work is not community work. It's not bro work. It's not, let me get married and then she'll help me with it. No, it's you. There's personal qualities that you need to work on. You have an incredible example of what qualities to work on. And you need to build reliance on yourself. I always tell my father-in-law, if I was to lose it all today, 6 months is too long, buddy. I'm gonna get it back twice as beautiful, twice as great, because I know I can rely on myself. If I set my mind to doing something, by Allah, it's going to be done. That's the level of confidence in your capacity and capability to do you need to have on yourself as a person. And you can. It doesn't take a whole year. It doesn't take a whole year. So you can build your self-esteem. I want to go to the third brother's question. Yeah, alcohol
Yeah. Yeah, alcohol, yeah.
and codeine use,
Coping mechanism.
coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
I always say, me, I will never cast you aside. I don't care how big your problems are. I don't care. People have killed people. And they came to the Prophet and they said, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what happens? The slate gets wiped clean. I don't care how big your problem is. I don't care. The brothers and the sisters that are using substances to deal with, to cope, are reacting normally to adverse environmental conditions. It's a normal reaction. Why is it a normal reaction? It's what's readily available in the community to deal with things you feel like you can't deal with. It's readily available socially. Alcohol is readily available. There's more taverns, mukas, and churches,
Absolutely.
and masjids, and schools, and clinics, and shopping centers, and soccer fields, and basketball fields. It's readily available. It's a natural response to adverse conditions. There's an adverse condition happening just up the street or down the street. And it's affecting you in a negative way. What did I say earlier? Arrested development. When something happens to you that you don't have the tools to respond with, in the moment, you freeze, or you fight, or you flee, or you fall. You get frozen in time. It's happening to you. Your body keeps record, your nervous system keeps a record of that thing. If your nervous system is constantly in nervous angst, codeine is going to, sex is going to, alcohol is going to, weed is going to, codeine, right? It's going to go demarcating here for a moment. You wake up tomorrow, and then you become aware of the fact that your body is back here. So you go back to the alcohol, the codeine, the weed, the smoke, the sex, and every single day these become the natural responses to quiet your body. We just did the exercise. Your body's quiet. I can tell you for a fact now, your body's quiet. If you learn to master your mind, you can quiet your body, its urges, its desires, its needs that are readily available. You can tame your body. You can tame your nafs. You can. Who do you talk to? Who do you talk to? I would say if your friend group Your friend group had the solutions, only multi-billionaire. So those are the people you go to. Sometimes, no, not every day actually, not even sometimes. Our wives come from the same environment we come from. They have the same type of friends we have. So a lot of times we expect a lot from our wives, a lot more than they can carry, and a lot more than they're supposed to carry. If she had the answers, you wouldn't be looking, you wouldn't have questions. So she's not the person to go to for everything. In fact, your wives, guys, your wives are people to go to with solutions you've already implemented. Please. These people are supposed to have an easy life. Our prophet told us people are supposed to have an easy life. Whatever condition you got her out of, take her there. So come to her with solutions you've already implemented that are now showing results. Meaning, there's a level of conversation you're supposed to be having with your wife that doesn't burden her. Because if she doesn't have an answer for you, she goes into despair. Because you're a fixer. You want to fix the despair. With what tools? With what knowledge? With what solution? So you go to professionals. Please go to the doctor. Sheikh. Go to the doctor. Go find out. Ako bona tla ka dipilisi re, hey, ha be ke tswa docteng, o mpolelletse ke na le, and this is the way to counter. Hey, I went to a therapist and he told me, I've got this. Maybe ho bolelle nna, don't shout so much because stress sa ka se akwa. And if se akwa, I fight, I flee, I freeze or I fawn. Then you feel like I don't have solutions. When I do have a solution, it's just that the solution is brought out by you talking to me with a soft voice. Right? Please go to professionals. If in Twazaka, if you have a bank account, you have an account manager, find your account manager. Go to the branch and say, "Ke mang account manager ya? Account number how ke?" So they're going to give you their name. You're probably in Mukasi already. But go to a professional. If it's not a professional, go to someone who knows a professional. But please don't go to Google and ask Google about your mental health. Google doesn't know everything, guys. He doesn't know everything. Don't go to ChatGPT. Go to a doctor. Let the doctor refer you to someone else. Let the person who's referred to help you. The help is available. It's the door you use to access it. And if the doors you've gone through haven't helped you, don't quit on yourself, on the thing, on the destination. Don't quit on Allah. I hope I answered those.
I see there are many questions. Like one question. Or a question.
Oh, bakit na ba tshwarela ko masay?
So that the issue is that can we put it on hold for now? Because so Allah supposed to be at quarter two, we push it to 10 to 5. So Ugawakula Adani, after Adan 5 minutes, 1 o'clock. After Salah, we continue a little bit of time, maybe because lunch is getting ready. And also lunch is getting ready. So whatever signal is ready, we go for lunch. So just now, we just want to pray as Muslims, not more than 10 minutes. And then after that, we're going to continue the program. So we want to call the call to prayer. We pray. For those who are not Muslims, they can still press the break and just see how we pray. If you don't mind, you can still take a walk around this place. And then after that, we continue the program. Right. I think that can be fine for now with your permission.
Absolutely.
Jazakallah khairan. I think the mic needs them.
Sorry. So, kada buat